Good morning. We have a wild story today with Abraham and Sarai, and her maidservant. Nice way of saying slave. Or maybe we have a different idea of slave. And the challenge it is when God is not doing the stuff that we expect Him to be doing, and we take decisions and actions into our own hands because we're going to run the world better than God. And there we had a great day yesterday with Abraham and his faith. Despite his crisis, his reassurance by God. And then the next chapter, we have all this going on. In their culture, it was done. It's known. They even had that general idea that somebody else could have children for you. But we're kind of there again today with surrogacy. The need to discover God's plan for family life. For marriage. For children. We're there with test tubes. To understand God's plan for life. To accept His timing. To accept His providence. It's a road of learning. And all of us can be tempted to do things to accomplish what we think God's will is, to accelerate it, to get it going. And many times we have to wait for the crop to grow. We have to wait for the seed to germinate. Somebody sent me yesterday the report of a seed that was, where was this? It was like 30-something thousand years ago. It was in the Ice Age, I think. And the seed was finally germinated again. Amazing story of modern scientific care and dealing with nature. When it comes to the human being, we live in faith with God. That's the relationship basis. And how much do we let God take charge? And allowing God the time for His plans to mature. For the transformation of a situation where we get angry and we call out, we shout out, we take charge because we have a better idea than God. And when we force things, many things we don't notice go wrong that we haven't taken care of because we don't have that all-encompassing knowledge that the Lord has, and that ripening process. And yet the Lord doesn't give up on us. He didn't give up on Hagar and Ishmael. He's even giving them a blessing like He gave Cain. His protection, His providence. And then the next hard thing is for us to put up with the sufferings that come from our poor decisions trying to accelerate God's plan and force the matters. how many people forced through different means. It doesn't have to be a gun to your neck. It can be the opposite. And have forced a relationship into marriage. Have wooed the other person or tried, and the proper discernment wasn't done, or the time needed to mature a bit more and have more solid motivations wasn't given. And then there are lots of problems to cope with. And yet God continues to work with us. He doesn't give up on us like parents don't give up on their children ever. Because He loves us. He loves us immensely. That way God is amazing. Amazing love. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention I added a link for a new article that came out yesterday in our journal, the June article. And it's also about recognizing the peculiarities of each one, the gift of each one, being able to live with each other and work with each other. We oftentimes are a very conflicted family. It's the right word today for Sarah and Hagar and Ishmael and Abraham. And Sarah was waiting 10 years for a child, and that's a lot of time. God promised it, like what's God doing? Why is He delaying so long? And then the turn of things when the servant girl becomes pregnant by Abraham with the consent of Sarah, now she turns against Sarah. The human heart, you know. We get proud, we get arrogant, we get conceited, we think it's us. And all of our gifts are really, at the end of the day, they're from God. We can't really leverage them for our ego and against other people. It's a long time since we had an Egyptian goose here sitting on the table. It's a good sign they're back. It means we have a bit more peaceful status quo here. Quack. And this is about building our house on rock, which is a gospel passage, or building it on sand. Building solid. Building solidly on solid rock. I remember structures at home we built as children, and a few years ago when I went back with my brother for the summer vacation, and the foundations that are put in, very solid to sustain a building in long term. Building on rock, building a family on rock. A very important decision to build a family. Hope parents and grandparents communicate that with their children, especially by example, to build on rock. And if the example had failed, then maybe then the next step is to really pray and to ask God for all that failed in my own family, how my children and grandchildren that He can intervene to allow them to be blessed and to make the right decisions. And even small decisions are helpful on the path to the big decisions. Small decisions of building on rock, learning, studying, behavior, treating others. Small decisions in the small things, but building always on rock, in God's will. Wow, look at all the stone that's exposed here. We hadn't noticed that, or I hadn't noticed it. It's down very low, and I almost checked the level. It's about 3 meters below level. So there's definitely some experience of rock in our lives because we're here together, reading God's Word, wanting God's Word. And we can be thankful to that. And that's our verse today. Give thanks to the Lord, for He is good. People, God bless you. Don't see too much here with the intense light. Come on. I was able to turn it this way, now I have to turn it back. There we go. God bless you. See you later. It's alligator.